So I have had a lot of requests for a very specific video. So I've done a few different videos on how you can make your design, so how you can sketch and then ink and make stamps and things. And I've done a few on this, but I wanted to do a little more in depth because I had a specific request on how to do clip art using digital papers. So in this tutorial, I don't know if you guys have seen if you are looking at anything mascot wise, but Canva mascots do really well. So I wanted to show you guys how to take my stamps, make it into a camo mascot bulldog that you can use and sell as clip art, as well as using it in your digital designs. So I have already stamped my pretty little bulldog here. And the thing that you have to know is that everything is going to be a clipping mask, because if you're doing these, you want to be able to set them up in layers and then come back in and just swap the digital papers and not have to start from scratch every single time. So I've already done the video multiple times on how to like draw things. So you guys know that I use ChatGPT, Google Flow, Pinterest, Etsy, all the things. Get your ideas, put it all on a board, start sketching away, try to find a mix and match, get some references if you need some references, and then go from there. So I'm going to actually make this a reference since we're talking about references, and I'm going to make it a blue color. So I'm going to go ahead and actually put our bulldog at the top so we can make sure that the colors are filling correctly. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in the areas that are going to have the main digital paper. So I only want those areas filled in with that color because those are the areas that will have the digital paper. I'm going to go over to my wrench here and go to add and insert a photo. Now I have already downloaded the camo here, so I'm going to use it. I do have one that's seamless, so I would probably use that for this example. I would use that if I was doing this so I could make it a little bit tinier. This one was not seamless. It was just a digital paper. And then I'm going to click the inserted pattern and I'm going to select clipping mask. So now that clips the camo to the bottom layer, which is the blue layer, and that's going to be the main part of the bulldog's face. And then I still have this as a reference. So I'm going to click on the digital paper and click the plus sign. And I want to actually go ahead and color match some things from the canvas. So I have my color here. I'm just going to hold the finger down onto the canvas until this pulls up, and then you can move this around as you would like. I'm going to start with this like light gray. So I'm going to pick here. Oh, I changed it. Hold on. I'm going to click and drag, and we're going to do gray eyes for the bulldog. Ooh, I'm going to have to zoom in a little bit to get all the little areas. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the nose as well. And we may go ahead and do the ears for now. I don't think I'm going to stick with that color. I think we're going to need a darker color. So let me try. I'm just going to move this over on the screen. I'm going to color match this dark one here and see if the dark one looks better. I just had to click off so that I could change my color there. All right, so I'm going to alpha lock this and then fill layer because we don't have to drag and drop more than once. And I do like that for the ears, but I do not like it for the rest of it. So I'm going to leave the reference on for the bulldog here. And then I'm going to drag the darker greens in for the ears. And then we can also do that for those two. Okay. So now you have your little bulldog. Actually, I think that we need to do white for that because that just looks so bad. Okay. So now we have our bulldog face. What I would do after this, because it is kind of hard to see, is one of two things. I'm going to alpha lock this, fill layer, make that white. You can bump it down a little bit. It would make it a little more of like a vintage retro if you want to bump down the opacity. So like this is at max. I wouldn't do it much, but even just bumping it down to like 95 gives it a little more clarity there. So we'll go 94. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Bump that down a little bit. The gray is fine. It's already very neutral. Another thing that you could do is you could actually duplicate the outlines and alpha lock that. And then we could select our like gray layer, do that as a fill, and then we could move it. So you see how that gives it a little more of an outline there? And then I would actually do that again and do a different color. So I'm going to do duplicate again. And this time I'm going to match one of the gold colors over here on my glitter. And then do the fill layer there. And then I'm going to move it the opposite direction. So we're just giving Bulldog a little more definition. So that looks a lot better. I'm going to show you guys what it looked like before versus now. So before the outlines, it was this, and it's a little bit harder to see. Then I added one outline. I really like that. It was just a fill layer, and then I just moved it a little bit to the bottom right. And then if you want to further add some color, you can do that. And then the last thing that I would do if I'm selling these is the white always really helps to stand these out. So I'm going to go to my brush set and go to my ink 3. And I'm going to have a new layer here. So far these are our layers. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, I've got it put at 4%. I'm going to go in and add some white. And it's better if you're doing this for like clip art, add your white close to or on top of the black, but it's small enough that it does not cover up the entire outline. And this brush, I don't know if you guys, have used it a lot. This is my favorite brush. I'm doing very light strokes because as I bring my hand off of the tablet screen, it will actually fade these out and make it look like I'm picking my brush up and then putting it back down. But white just really helps to pop these kind of designs. And I'm just going over the areas that had the black. So that's eyes 2. Need a little bit more. Oop, I'm going a little too light right there. So there we go. We want the eye definition there. Do it a little bit more back over. And then I have a few more areas. But yeah, so this is the process. And then if I wanted to then make this more of a girly vibe, so like Jo Ellen was asking for some very the one that she sent me was a very bright like purple pink neon colored, then you can do that as well. And I'll show you guys here in just a second as soon as I'm done with this. Just to give you like 2 different visuals on things that you can do with it. Okay. So, oop, I missed a few right here. I think I got everything. Sometimes it can be hard to see.